Hey, welcome back. Let's talk about Vercel. So this is an alternative to Replit, which we talked about in the last video. Very, very similar. Really, you can pick and choose between them. It's just personal preference, really. So same as before, you connect your GitHub repo to the tool and then push the code and it deploys. That's basically it, right? So this is probably better for the simpler stuff than Replit. So a quick HTML page, password protected. I like Vercel because it makes it nice and easy to add that password. Maybe a little one-off tool that you build. Basically, if it's simple, you don't need some big back-end, huge database. You can do that on Vercel. It's just easier on Replit, in my humble opinion. So a little decision tree for you. Which one should you use? If you need a back-end server, if you are calling an API, and obviously you want to do that in a safe and secure way, so you've got a publicly facing page that needs to call an API somehow, then you want that to talk to your back-end server hidden behind the scenes. The back-end stuff goes off and talks to the API, gets the reply and passes that back to the front-end pretty part of the website. If that's your need, then use Replit. If you particularly need something to automatically deploy, so in other words, when you're in the brain and you say to the brain, yep, great, that all looks good, commit and push to GitHub, please. That's the command. Or you can use my /sync command as well. That saves all of your code up to GitHub. If you're using Replit, now you have to open up Replit, pull the code down and hit republish. Only takes a couple of minutes, but you have to do that manually. Vercel, on the other hand, does all of that automatically. It's sitting there watching GitHub, listening and waiting. And when it sees that new code arrive on GitHub, it says, great, got it, thanks. Take a new copy of that, redeploy, bang, your new website is live and you don't have to do anything else. So you are in the brain, you say, great, yep, all looks good, commit and push. And it'll still take 1 or 2 minutes, but by the time you get to that web page in your browser and check it and have a look, it's all deployed and ready to go. So essentially, this is probably the main one. If it's quick and simple, you're trying to turn a PDF into a little presentation for a client, go with Vercel, easy to password protect. Please remember that their terms of service do say that the free account, I think it's called Hobby, cannot be used for commercial purposes. So, check with your lawyer. I don't play a lawyer on the internet. If it's a more complicated project, then probably Replit. I've also given you a fun little skill in the members template, which is this /Vercel skill. And so that basically explains everything to the brain of how to deploy everything to Vercel. So you don't even really need, I don't think you need to at all. Once you've got your Vercel account set up, it will then know what it needs to do to spin up a new project, to have a chat with Vercel. It basically handles all of that for you, so you don't really need to do anything. You might have a minute or two of setup in there. I can't remember, sorry. So you can say, right, bang, off you go, deploy this to Vercel. Or you can do it a more manual way. I'm sure your brain is already connected to your GitHub account. You will need to then say, right, okay, this stuff I need to push to its own repo. I want to package this up as a separate repo. I need you to create a new repo, please, on GitHub Brain. Push all of this code over there, and then you can manually go into Vercel, create a project, link it to GitHub, and from that moment on, then it will auto-deploy for you. And then Vercel also has their own CLI tool, which is, you don't need to learn it. That's all packaged up into the Vercel skill that I built for you. But if you particularly want to, you can go read the documentation and learn how to use, so CLI, command line interface, which basically means you can type a line of code in a terminal window and all this stuff magically happens. But I would stick to using the skill if I were you. It's by far the simplest option. You just need to either use something like this or, again, just plain English. Hey, brain, can you use the Vercel skill to deploy to package up and send online that client audit HTML file that we were just working on. That will work too. And then it will end up on, just like we talked about before, some sort of some sort of URL created for you, something like your project.vercel.app. Obviously, depending on if that URL is available or not. You may need to add some numbers or some extra letters or something. You're not going to be able to pick a very common, very short name, obviously. Password protection. So I use this on any little project that I spin up and send to someone. I'm almost always going to password protect that just in case somebody randomly bumps into that Vercel URL, just to protect their data. Very, very easy to do, particularly if you use the Vercel skill. Just tell the brain what password you want it to use. That's it for this one. Nice quick one. Then in the next video, we're going to tie it all together and talk about how you can use these online tools to create gorgeous client portals and really ramp up that perceived value from all of the stuff that you're doing for your clients. Why not present it in a gorgeous manner? I'll see you there.